Hi, this is Shannon. This is Cycle 1, Week 24, Tutor and Memory Work Ideas. Congratulations, you made it to the end. Awesome job. I hope you have had a great year, and I hope you get to tutor again next year if that is your desire. In this video, I'm going to share some tutor and memory work ideas for Cycle 1, Week 24. You can use these as a tutor, and you can also use these ideas at home as you practice the memory work with your kids as well. If you are new to my channel, I am a homeschooling mom of 3 little ones, 5, 3, and 1, and we get to do classical homeschooling and love it, and I have the privilege of tutoring the Abecedarians, so that is the 4 through 6-year-olds. I actually have some 7-year-olds too. So these ideas are with them in mind, but you can use pretty much all of them with older kids too, or adjust them as you need to. And make sure you stick around to the end of this video because I have some more fun memory work games and activities you can use with your kids throughout the week to practice the memory work, and they are free to download, so I hope you enjoy them. I am going to start with English today like I usually do. We are finishing up our linking verbs. So in my preschool line paper notebook for the kids, I wrote the first linking verb, stay, and then I wrote the second one, smell, and dots for the kids to trace, and then I wrote a horizontal line for the last one, which is grow. So I'm going to let the kids try to write that one. As I've said, if you watched my past videos, I have gotten a preschool line paper notebook for each child. They have been doing this each week for the whole year, so this is our last week, which is exciting. I write out some of the linking verbs in this case, or whatever we're learning about in English, and then I let them either trace or write some depending on their level. So you can adjust this to the level of your kids, which is one of the reasons I love it. You can adjust this to the level of each child in your little group, which is another reason I love it. So you could have them write more or trace more. You could write more for them. You could have them write the first letter of each word, or you could write the first letter and have them write the rest. Lots of fun options. So we, again, are doing stay, smell, and grow this week. So I will give the kids a chance to write those and trace. And then as they're doing that, I will be singing our linking verb song that we've been singing for the past few weeks to the tune Ants Go Marching. And also when they are done, I will have them stand up and we will do the hand motions and sing the whole song together. So it goes like this. A linking verb makes an assertion by joining 2 words. A linking verb makes an assertion by joining 2 words. Feel, become, remain, taste, seem, appear, look, sound, stay, smell, grow. These are the linking verbs. So I will post my video below too, where I sing the whole song and where I sing the whole song with hand motions. So you can check those out if you want. Also, I will have the kids practice the whole preposition song that they learned first semester, because we are going to present that to the parents at the end of the year ceremony. So I will review that with the kids as well. I'll post a video I made of the whole song and all the hand motions if you would like to see that too. Also, I like to play a fun game with them as well, especially since we've finished the linking verbs this week, where I have them choose a linking verb that we either learned this week or one of the prior weeks and just do the hand motion for it, and then the other kids try to guess which one they're doing. So for example, they could do, oh, that was smell, or grow, or one from the prior weeks, they could do seem. So it's just a fun way to practice those. For geography this week, we are learning about the North Atlantic. So I'm actually going to print one of these maps for each child. Ignore the stickers for now. It will be a blank map. And I'm actually not going to outline any of the locations this week, since it's the last week and the kids are a little bit older. They can do this. There's only 2 countries that they need to outline plus 2 states, so it's pretty easy. So I'm just going to actually print these blank maps and give one to each child. I have these linked in my blog post of these tutor plans if you want to use this zoomed in map instead of the trivia table maps, just because it makes the places a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is pass these maps out, and then we're going to go over each location. So first, Greenland. I'm going to have them trace Greenland with a marker or a crayon or whatever you have. And so I'll give them a minute to do that. And then we're going to jump down to Iceland, and I will let them trace that with a different color. And then we've got the Denmark Strait and the Davis Strait. So I will talk to them about what a strait is. It's a narrow passage of water between two land masses usually and connecting two bodies of water. So we will notice that up here, the Davis Strait connects the Baffin Bay to the Labrador Sea that we've learned about, which is pretty cool. Before we do anything with the stickers, so just ignore those for now, I will teach them a song to the tune Kumbaya to help them remember these. And it goes like this. North Atlantic, Greenland, Iceland, Denmark Strait, Davis Strait. North Atlantic, Greenland, Iceland, Denmark Strait, Davis Strait. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to them about some animals that live in these places. I love just learning about animals and where certain animals live. In Greenland, there are polar bears, and I might have mentioned this before, but my 6-year-old just loves polar bears, so anytime there's a reason to bring up polar bears, I do. So I'm going to bring some stickers in. I have these stickers from these two books. One is Ocean Animals, and one is just wild animals. I have these from something before, and they have a lot of great Arctic animals in them too. I'll link these below if you're curious. I'm going to have the kids put a polar bear sticker in Greenland, and then I'm going to have the kids put an Arctic fox by Iceland, because I learned that that is one of the only native animals to Iceland. They've introduced a lot of animals, but Arctic foxes are actually native to Iceland. Then I'm going to have them put an orca or killer whale nearby the Denmark Strait and a beluga whale nearby the Davis Strait, because those types of whales swim through those straits. There are other kinds of whales and stuff in here. You really could do pretty much any whale. There's a lot of kinds of whales that are in this area, or seals, lots of different animal options. But these are the stickers I had, so I decided to use them. I'm going to bring 4 stickers for each child so they can put the stickers nearby each location, and then we will sing the song a few more times and they can take this home. Part of the reason I didn't do the dry erase is just so they could take it home so they can keep learning about it after this week. For history this week, we are learning about the Portuguese Empire. And I am going to do silly words again because it's really fun. So the way I do this is first I sing the history sentence or say it, or you could play it normally, and I tell the kids to listen really carefully. And then after I've done that, then I'm going to throw some silly words in, and they have to raise their hand if they hear a silly word. So normally it goes like this. When Napoleon threatened the Portuguese Empire, King John VI fled to Brazil. His son, Dom Pedro, the first declared Brazil independent in 1822. So then I will sing that, and then I'll say, okay, now I'm going to throw some silly words in, and if you hear a silly word, raise your hand. So I'll start out saying, when Chameleon threatened, let's say, Chameleon? No, it should be, when Napoleon. Okay. So then I go to the beginning and start at the beginning and say it normally until the next silly word. So, when Napoleon threatened the cheese empire, cheese? No, it should be, Portuguese. Okay. So then again, I go to the beginning and do it correctly until the next silly word. So they're actually hearing it correctly a lot of times, which is one of the reasons I really like doing this for history, and they love it too. So the silly words I used were chameleon instead of Napoleon, cheese instead of Portuguese, yawn instead of John, spill instead of Brazil, torpedo instead of Pedro, descendant instead of independent. Then after we get through all those silly words, I will have them all sing along with me normally. So that is history. For math this week, we are learning the identity law for addition and multiplication. So I made these little puzzles again. I'm just like in the puzzles for the properties. I ended up making a puzzle for each property. So if you haven't seen those, you can check out my other blog posts for those. I have those linked. You can download them for free. So you can see in my picture what the puzzles look like, but I have one for the identity law for addition and one for multiplication. So first I will show the kids on my tutor board what the identity law for addition and multiplication look like, and how if we add 0 to something it doesn't change it, or if we multiply something by 1 it doesn't change it, and give them a few examples of that. And then I will hand out a baggie with these puzzles in them and give the kids a chance to put them together as I'm playing our song that we're going to learn, so they'll start hearing it, and then I'll walk around and help them if they need help. These are pretty simple puzzles because the identity law is pretty short, so it shouldn't take them long. Then once they're done, I'll have them keep their puzzles out on the table, and we will follow along as we sing our song together. The song we're going to learn is to the tune Polly Wolly Doodle, and it goes like this. The identity law for addition states a plus 0 equals a. The identity law for multiplication states a times 1 equals a. The identity law for addition states a plus 0 equals a. The identity law for multiplication states a times 1 equals a. For Latin this week, we are doing the 5th declension noun endings. And I am going to play this game Sparkle with the kids again because they are just loving it. And it's the last week, and if they love it, why not, right? The way this works is I will have them sit around in a circle. We will sing the Latin song, and when we get to the end of the singular or the plural, the person who would be saying something next, we yell sparkle, and that person is out. So when I've done this with my kids, even though they're younger, they still think this is really fun and they don't mind getting out. I am going to spice it up a little bit this time so that when a kid gets out, we all give them a high five before they go out, because we are doing 5th declension noun endings. So just for fun, you can give them a high five. So what I do with the younger kids is I just point to each kid going around the circle as we say each noun ending. I don't make them say each one. If your kids are a little bit older, they could probably handle each kid saying a different noun ending, and then when you finish the noun endings, the next person, it's sparkle and they're out. But since the kids are younger in my group, I just point, and then again, whoever is the next person after the noun endings stop, they're the one that goes out. So it kind of goes like this. I'll say the noun endings and act like we're doing it so you can see. Ace, A-A-M-A. Ace, A-A-M-A. Ace, A-A-M-A. Then I point to a person singular, another person 5th declension, and then the next person we would point to and say sparkle, and then we would all give them a high five, and then they go out. Then we do it for the plural. So ace, arum, ibis, ace, ibis. Ace, arum, ibis, ace, ibis. Ace, arum, ibis, ace, ibis. Plural, 5th declension. And then the next person we say sparkle, give them a high five, and then they're out. Then we keep doing it until everybody's out. It's really fun. The kids in my group have really loved this game this year. So that's what we're going to do for Latin. For science this week, we are learning about some markings on the globe. So I'm going to have the kids sit in a circle again. I brought my blow-up globe. I brought this in during week 21 as well when we were talking about the 5 circles of latitude. We are also going to do some silly voices. So before we start, I'm going to show them on my tutor board the markings on the globe and go through each one and show them on this too. So latitude lines go like this around the globe, longitude go up and down. Then I'll show them the prime meridian goes through England, and it goes like this. Then I will talk about degrees, where those are, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So then we are going to again sit in our circle, and we're going to pass our globe around as we sing our song. And so first we'll sing it normally, and then we're gonna do some silly voices with it. All right, our song goes to the tune Polly Wolly Doodle, and it goes like this. What are some markings on the globe? Latitude, longitude, prime meridian, degrees, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. What are some markings on the globe? Latitude, longitude, prime meridian, degrees, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. So we'll sing that as we pass around our globe, and then I will give each child a silly voice stick. So this one says fish pucker face. This one says mad. You can tell that I've used these a lot. This one says hold your nose. I also have silly voice cards that I mentioned before. I will link in the description if you want to download those for free to use too. Sometimes I use the sticks. Sometimes I use the cards just to change it up. But the kids love doing things in silly voices. So I will give each kid a silly voice stick, and we will just go around and sing the song in the different silly voices. So for example, mad, we would say, what are some markings on the globe? Latitude, longitude. So you get the idea. For timeline this week, we aren't really doing timeline because we finished that last week. So we are learning about the presidents, and there is a great president's song. There's actually two different ones on the Foundation CD or on the app. I am going to give the kids each one of these handouts. This has all the presidents on it, and we are going to listen and try to sing along with the president's song. And as we do that, I'm going to give the kids some fun things to look for. So the first time we listen to it, I'm going to have them look for presidents that are smiling. And I'm going to give them a dry erase marker and have them mark any presidents that are smiling. A lot of them aren't, but Eisenhower is, Biden is. So any president they think is smiling, they can make a little check mark or dot on. Then after we listen through the whole song, we'll kind of talk about which presidents did you see that were smiling. Then we'll sing through it again, and I'll have them find any president that has a red tie. So any president that has a red tie, they will put a dot on that president. You could do presidents that have glasses on, presidents that have a mustache. Just a fun way to have the kids look for something as they're listening to the song. So we will do that, and then the last time we listen to the song, I will give the kids each a little star sticker, and they can put a star sticker on their favorite president. And then we'll kind of compare and see who each kid decided to put their star on. I also wanted to share with you guys, I decided to make a timeline card for each child in my group this year. I have their name on it on the front, when they were born to present, the years that they were in CC this year, and then a little Colorado symbol at the top. And then on the back, I have a timeline icon like they do on the actual timeline cards, and then just some different highlights of this year for them. I will have these on my Etsy shop if you want to get some for either just your individual child or your class, then check that out. I will link that below. But what I'm planning to do is, since this year a lot of times I've taped the 7 timeline cards on the wall with painter's tape, or I've had the kids put them up in the correct order. If you've watched my other videos, you know what I'm talking about. I am going to actually, when the kids walk in, I'm going to have the different cards for each child taped on the wall and just see how quickly they notice. And then once they notice, they can take their card and take it home, and they can read with their parents what I write about them on the back. So this will be a little gift from me to them at the end of the year. So I just wanted to share that in case you're interested in doing something similar. Again, I'll link this below if you want to check it out. For review, I am going to play a review game that my kids have just loved this year. It is called Stop, Drop, Act Like a Rock. It's one of my kids' favorite review games. And what they do is I tell them to dance around really fast, and then I say stop, and then they stop, and then drop. They drop to the ground, and then act like a rock. So they have to kind of huddle, put their head under their hands, and get down like a rock. And then I walk around, and then I tap on one of the rocks, and I say, okay, everybody get up, everybody wake up. Which rock did I tap on? And then whoever I tapped on I ask a review question. And then if they need help, I let the other kids help them. So I might say, who can tell me what's one of the 5 circles of latitude that we learned? Or tell me one of the helping verbs that we learned about. Lots of review options since we're at our last week, which is cool. And then I just keep doing that for a bit. I don't imagine we will have a ton of review time just because it's the last week and it's kind of crazy. So that's another reason I like this game. It's pretty quick. You can do it for as long as you want, and the kids really love it. Also, I am currently working on some fun president games you can play with your kids at home. I don't have them done yet, so I don't have one to show you at the moment, but I will put a link for it in the description as soon as I'm done. I'm hoping to be done with them pretty soon after I post this video. So be sure to check them out if you just want some more games to play with your kids to help learn the presidents either this week or just the upcoming weeks as we kind of review the material that we've learned this year. So I will link that below as soon as I am done with those games, and you can also follow me on Instagram and I will be sure to post those as soon as I'm done. My Instagram is @devotedtolittles, so check that out if you haven't already. I also want to share with you a couple really good books that would go along with this week. So this is Bachelor History U.S. Presidents, really fun way to flip through and read about the different presidents. These Bachelor books are just really fun. There's one for rocks too that I mentioned in my book list that I'll link below. I have a Cycle 1 second semester picture book list that has great books for each week if you haven't seen that already, so you can check that out. This one's a fun one for North Atlantic. It's called Puffin Adventures, and it's called A Day in the North Atlantic. So just a fun little picture book as we are learning about the North Atlantic. I also want to show you some fun review games as we are hitting the end of the semester. This is a fun History Monopoly style game that I made that reviews all of Cycle 1 history. So this would be a great game to play with your kids now throughout the spring and summer to just keep reviewing that history. If you're a Monopoly fan, you'll really like it. So it comes with money and cards, all kinds of stuff. This is in my Etsy shop, so I will link it below in the description if you want to check it out. I also have this memory work board game that's spring Easter themed, and it reviews all the memory work. Basically, it's Candyland style. I have cards that go with it too, and you just move a game marker along the board and review different subjects of the memory work as you go. Another great review game to do as we hit the end of the year, and it'll help your kids review what they've learned this year. So I will link both of these in the description. I have some other fun second semester review games as well, so I will link that blog post where I talk about all of them. I have many that are free that you can get to, a geography review game. I have a Latin bingo game, which I'll talk more about in a second, helping verbs review game, a science review game that's like the old maid card game that reviews the Cycle 1 science. Check those out so you can have just fun ways to review with your kids. As promised, I want to show you the memory work games and activities you can do at home with your kids this week. I have linking verb cards. I have shown these before. They have all the linking verbs with a little sentence using the linking verb and a picture. So we like to play memory with these, but you could use them just as a reference or play Go Fish. I have What's the Scoop for the properties for math, and I have several different forms where the kids can identify what property is being shown and then color in the ice cream scoop according to the key. So it looks like this-ish when they're done. So I have several different forms. These have all the properties on them, so your kids can do it several times. Then I have my Latin bingo game that I've shown before with all the Latin noun endings. So this would be great review now that we've hit the end of the year. Just a great way to practice all the noun endings. For science, I have this markings on the globe activity where I have a spinner. I haven't cut it out yet, but you can cut it out and either use a paper clip or an actual spinner and then spin, and then whatever word you land on, your kids can try to identify where that is. So I will have in the activity set this with the items labeled and without them labeled if your kids are a little bit more advanced and can do it without the labels as well. For history, for Tell Me About the Portuguese Empire, I have this puzzle with the different parts of the history sentence on the bottom that you can cut out the strips and then your kids can put it back together according to the history sentence. Then for geography, I made another dice game that has the locations from the North Atlantic that we learned this week, but also the Canadian provinces and waters that we learned. So it's good review of this area of the world. And I have a key and just a blank map if you just want a blank map for it. So that's it. And also, like I said before, I will have some fun president games. I just haven't finished them yet, so I don't have them to show you, but I will link them in the description of this video as soon as I am done. And you can download all these activities from my blog for free. I will link in the description below where to get them. If you are enjoying my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I plan to continue posting videos throughout the summer, just related to homeschool, healthy living. I plan to post a video about just fun timeline ideas, fun review ideas, more general videos, why we love homeschooling with classical conversations, things like that. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss. And I also plan to tutor next year and post cycle 2 videos as well and make more activities for cycle 2. Also follow me on Instagram because I like to post anything that I've made, updates, things that I'm giving out for free, just what we do at home homeschool wise on there. And also check out my blog where you can find these activities and written up blog posts with tutor plans, what we do at home for each week, and lots of fun, healthy recipes. I hope you have a wonderful summer. Thank you so much again for watching, and please let me know if you have any questions.